here from the Media Lab, and basically this is a report out from the Unconference that we hosted yesterday, which is the 20th, and we were a couple of the great projects that we were able to develop during ideation, and it's a chance for Jonathan Askin, who's joined us, and myself and Ellie to give some feedback, and then to talk a little bit about just next steps and kind of wrap up. And also, you see, we're joined by Dan Galachi from our lab. Hey, Dan. And so there's an experiment with our I don't know, we call it like a breakout app or a collaboration widget app that Jason Walsh talked about. So, so why don't we get started? Like, Adrian, you got the floor. Like, what did you talk about? Actually, could everyone say hi? Forgive me. Just say hello, everyone. So, Jonathan, hi, welcome.
Hi, Jonathan Askin here.
Great. And Ellie, hello and welcome. And you're on mute.
Hi.
Great. And Dan, hi, welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Great.
Hi.
Great. And you, hey, it's great. So you've got the floor, Adrian.
Okay, so you've seen my face. I'm gonna put up a couple of slides and talk for 2 minutes, and then we will take it from there. Can you see the slides?
Yep.
Okay,
yes.
So the project is HIE of 1. It's launching at this hackathon. The problem is sharing of personal data from things like health records or the Internet of Things. I'll show you our approach is to build a digital sharing agent, which I'm going to be able to show you a demo, as much of it as we have stomach for. There we're going to also hack a letter to the Office of Civil Rights from the lawyers amongst us, and launch an ongoing GitHub community to manage this digital agent community. The goal is to drive the adoption of a standard called UMA in heart by a luminary hospital as soon as possible, and I'll show you the steps towards doing that. We hacked a demo. You can actually go online and see it at this address. Let's go there now, just so you see that it's live, and it steps you through the various pieces of the hack. This is what's going to get moved to GitHub for people to clone and work with as the foundation of the community. Here's a letter from 2013. A version of this is going to be updated to apply to sharing of health records via interfaces. And the legal folks are going to help to get this process undergoing so that we could get the 2015 version of this underway. This is the third part of the hack. This is the HIE of 1 organization on GitHub. As you can see, we already have 7 members. And the whole point of launching here at MIT is for folks to join and become part of this ongoing community. On the business side, we're going to drive adoption in 5 easy steps, starting with a work group that I co-founded that is in Kantara, which is the Health Relationship Trust work group. This is basically a standards organization. We are also working with Medicare to make this component of a personal data, Medicare claims data access pilot that they're running. There's a ongoing project called Smart on Fire that the industry introduces apps into healthcare. That's what the smart apps. Then the hospital-to-hospital stuff is being done in Argonaut, and we could hope that they pick this up as well as a component. And finally, getting this into an actual hospital is the goal. So this is my 2 minutes. Please track this project or join it, even better. You can email me or connect with me as Agropper on GitHub for an invite. Thank you very much.
That's cool.
Could you say that one more time? I was just kidding. I was helping Bill get online. So, Jonathan, Ellie, Dan, any questions or feedback?
Well, from my perspective, it's Jonathan Askin here. From a legal policy government perspective, I think this opens up the door to very interesting issues for roles for me and my law students and other perhaps policy thinkers to play a role in interfacing between what Adrian's trying to accomplish and working with HHS and other government bodies. So for me, this is an interesting hurdle, not just from a technological perspective, but also from a public policy legal perspective. So I'm looking forward to helping on it.
Thank you.
Cool, thanks. Did you hear anything in that that sparked a question or comment, Dan or Ellie?
I talked to this in a separate project.
I'm not sure for others as well, but you seem to break up there, Dan.
Yeah.
Could you come again? And then let's check the logs to see what data we got on your talk event.
Wondering, I was wondering who used you working on this, Adrian?
You're breaking up. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm wondering if this was just you that was working on this, or who else was part of the team?
No. The hack itself, the part that I showed just the first click of, was done last night as part of the hackathon by Zach Fallows. And we're right now in the process of moving that to GitHub so that people will be able to clone this and work on it separately. So yeah, there was one other participant that actually coded the beginning of this. The preamble to this has been going on for months. I've been cooking up this for as much as a year, but it was just sort of it was this hackathon that gave me a deadline to actually get it done. So the hackathon has proved immensely valuable. It was first of all an opportunity for me to promote the hackathon, which I did at the Internet Identity Workshop 3 weeks ago in California, and to about 70 people that I invited to this launch. And some of them ended up as part of the community. So the reason that there are already 7 people in the GitHub community is because of this hackathon.
Great. Another interesting thing, I'll say, well, first of all, I think it's a very promising project. And we also, invisible now, Dan, but yesterday, during the Unconference day that happened and was pretty successful, we had a lot of people with ideas for, projects and hackable, buildable, things. Offer those ideas, and then in like a few rounds, talk about them, advance them. And so Adrian's idea actually got a great deal of conversation over several rounds, and several, like there's 2 or 3 other, there's a Sloan grad student and other people that had sort of aspects of the same idea, and they were like kind of merging them and doing different things. There's very rich ideation there. So there's, I don't know, there's lots of people that maybe have some fingerprints on it as well beyond the strict project team. Okay, well, thanks, Adrian. I know you're going to have to go shortly, and your boy's doing something, but if you could stick on for a few minutes, as long as you can, we'd be grateful. And Bill, Wendell, if you could come off mute, maybe you could introduce yourself, and if you give us a minute or so on what your project is.
Sure. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Great. Okay. My name is Bill Wendell. I was a student here in the city planning program 40 years ago, so I'm glad to be back. And do you want me to go right into my slides, Daza?
I think so. I mean, now that we know who you are, he's made of brass, but he's no rats. You're a big what?
Okay. I'm a big show and tell guy here, so I'm going to rely on my slides. Here we go.
Okay.
Boom, boom, boom.
Future of real estate thing, very interesting, and blockchain. You'll see.
Great.
We're trying to try to keep it to like a minute or two, please, just like an overview.
Okay, can you see the first slide here, talking real estate?
Looks good.
Okay. So this was, I just want to qualify, I'm not a tech guy, I'm a use case guy, and I wanted to begin a conversation broadly about blockchain and real estate. This is an article from IDEO that appeared in Fast Company magazine. I know there's a lot of buzz about blockchain in the fintech space, but this, and given that, a headline like this is pretty surprising that real estate could be the #1 industry that could be disrupted. Why is that important? Because the industry is huge. It's $1 trillion. There are multiple stakeholders. Some would say it's a hairball, and certainly that perspective has attracted a lot of investment money. If you go to the realtor's website or their convention like I just did, the word blockchain does not appear yet on the public site. That doesn't mean people in this supply chain aren't thinking about it. So to take a step back, the industry's only been online 20 years. Let me say that the industry's only been using computers for 20 years, only online for 15. So blockchain is already exploding in other industries, and first movers in real estate, some people in LA have started this international group. There's some real companies behind it. I have not drilled down into the implementations. I leave that to some of the future team members. On this side of the country, Jonathan last night talked about smart contracts. Some people in New York are building smart contracts.
I'm sorry, are you flipping through slides right now? Because if you are, we're not seeing that.
Oh my goodness, you're not seeing this?
No, yeah, we're on Add the Consumer. And also, we're sort of in the long form here. Like we're getting to the great American novel of a project. So can you just bottom line it for us, like in a minute? Like, what's your project?
Bottom line is, bottom line for this past weekend was to try to create, take a minimum viable baby step, which was to allow the realtors to do what they'd like to do, which is to use blockchain to enable something called property unique ID. Might be a better name in the future. There will be other real estate implementations in the future, including hopefully creating an open ecosystem that will help consumers save billions.
Okay, and so the idea is to do what?
The idea is to do what? What in the short term? What in the medium term? What in the long term?
Right. So do you want? I mean, that would be your presentation. So you would just tell us.
Yeah.
Like.
I'm sorry.
Whatever you're telling us.
Because I think if industry observers are saying that this industry is going to be disrupted by blockchain, what we might have done this weekend would only be a first baby step in that direction. The realtors will be coming to Boston in the year 2018. 3 years from now, there's a lot of opportunities we can collaborate or disrupt. MIT has had a hacking medicine group for a number of years, 39 events, is that right, Adrian? What if we were to launch a hacking real estate initiative of some sort and co-create an open ecosystem in the future?
Great, thanks, Bill. Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to be a jerk. I just want to maybe partly assist you in cutting to like that last seminal sentence there. And the reason I want to do it partly is because it's so darn good. So I'm going to jump right in with feedback to say that's a good idea. And you know, there's a lot of layers to these projects, but like I want to show a screen that you have here in the project wiki for people that would like to learn even more. And it's basically, I don't know if you can see this, but it's like you know, open ecosystem, and then a specific hackable idea is like use the blockchain with the what you call property unique identifier. And then when we were going through beforehand, like, you know, we kind of talked through this. There's some links here. There's like a working group within the real estate industry to have unique identifiers for individual lots of real estate. And you know, it's a natural, like it was your idea about, well, one thing we could do is we could put like a transaction related to this unique ID on the blockchain. Well, that would get so much bloat out of the system in terms of all the registries of deeds and all the titles and all the paperwork and all this stuff moving around different ways. A publicly verifiable thing related to a unique ID seems like a match made in heaven. Very insightful, very MIT kind of hack. And so kudos. And then obviously there's a lot of wisdom and like decades of research in the area of real estate. That this is the tip of the iceberg. It's just one little hack and a big transformation.
Yeah.
So questions, anyone, any thoughts or reflections on Bill's idea for a hack?
So the idea is to just create it's at like at its base levels to create like an open data format and an open ledger using the blockchain of real estate transactions using this idea of the unique property ID values. And then that data can be used to understand the real estate market better and spur analysis and also accountability in the real estate market. Am I understanding this correctly?
The IDEO article talks a lot about verification and authentication. It also mentions what you just did, or let me see what I want to hear in what you just said, which is a level of transparency and peer-to-peer exchanges.
Yeah.
So the industry has operated as a silo database for decades, and we have new technology to enable other ways of engaging in transactions, secure transactions.
Sure, very cool. Really interesting. I hadn't heard about any of that stuff before.
Yeah, me neither. It's really fresh in like a big part of the economy.
I've experienced the downside firsthand, the opaqueness, the potential for fraud and abuse in the real estate market.
Jonathan, I'm having trouble hearing you.
I wish this exists yesterday. So
It's Jonathan, actually. Your audio is coming through a little bit weak. Sorry.
all I said was I've experienced the opaqueness and fraud and potential for abuse in the absence of a ledger like this. I'm looking for real estate, and the times before that I've looked for real estate, I felt like I've been a consumer victim. I'm a pretty savvy consumer. So for me, this would in fact be a godsend or an MIT send if it in fact like sooner rather than later.
Well, Jonathan, some of my best memories from the event were conversations we had about your own pain points in the industry, and then layering those with conversations with Adrian about the role of the agent, and that, my God, real estate agent is right there in the word, and yet the industry routinely sort of ignores its agency duties. So I think smart contracts could introduce smart disclosure. Every real estate transaction has multiple disclosures. We can make it more efficient and simultaneously protect consumers.
Bill, dynamite. You know, this is, honestly, I think this is one of the best ideas. I've heard a few good ideas from you over the years with Doc Searles and like intent casting for buyers of real estate. And there's a lot of great different angles on this with the transformation. This is a winner. So like, please keep hacking with this. Jonathan and I are going to, actually, this is a good time to maybe in a broader say what's going to happen next. But we've got some plans going through IAP. That would be a perfect shape to advance, I think, hack all the way through to a complete successful prototype of the essence of your idea.
I'm going to see those plans on the recording because my battery is about to die, so I'm signing off.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adrian.
Bye.
This is live.
Gosh, Dan, I have to say, like, we're going to get all kinds of great reality things here, like Jonathan's microphone being a little low, some people coming and going from the hackathon, additional people wandering in and talking, so this is great. Okay, welcome. Right on. So, Jonathan, do you mind just sharing, while we have the opportunity, just a sense of like, I guess, the day in review? We had an Unconference. We came, we saw, we hacked, we reported out. Where are we at, and what's next?
Well, I got to say, when I was on the bus up here, it was an intimidating prospect for me to participate with you all, the mad scientists up here. It was enlightening, at first intimidating, ultimately inspiring, and I think it's led to some, I think, very good ideas that I would not have had I not been here face to face with you all. So the projects, the ideation yesterday was wonderful from my perspective. I heard about 12 to 14 brilliant ideas, any one of which would be a wonderful project for us to hang our hat on. I hope we can visit them all. I hope that I get to play a role in all of them. I think they're all potentially revolutionary, absolutely important for society and for the advancement of business, et cetera. So what I think I got from the experience yesterday and today is inspiration to play a more vital role over the next several months. So for me, this does not my concern is always that hackathons tend to die in a vortex come Sunday night. I'm convinced that's not going to happen because of our discussions here this weekend. What I see now is us establishing a meaningful process for at least the next 6 months where we take several of these ventures and turn them into several of these ideas and turn them into actually viable, supported ventures with the right amount of legal support, the right amount of technical support, the right amount of business support. So what was good for me being in this room here with both the MIT Media Lab crew, with the Sloan business folks, and with the outside bona fide technologists and entrepreneurs that we had here today, not to mention the folks online. But what was important for me is that I think we've got a plan going forward to actually build something December, January, February, and beyond. So what I hope comes from this is the ability for us to launch what we're calling, I think, napkins to launch, a way to ensure that we bring different constituencies from around MIT, from the broader community, and from, frankly, my plan is to bring in law students and pro bono legal support to make sure that something meaningful happens over the next few months. So looks like we've built a website prototype where people can populate their ideas, where technologists can grab ideas from the business school folks, where the business school folks can grab ideas from the technologists, and where the lawyers can fill in the blanks and figure out what their meaningful role will be come December, January, February, and beyond. So to me, that is the absolute, brass ring win that I see coming out of this, and I'm very much looking forward to playing that sort of essential legal overlay, the project manager function, wherever I see my value add. I was concerned about my value add. I was afraid, you're all brilliant technologists, you're all brilliant venturers. What is my unique value add? I see it now. I see, so being here, I see my place in the matrix. I don't want to take up too much of the time here, but I'm thrilled that I came up and experienced this.
Thanks, Jonathan. That's terrific. Couldn't be more happy to have you, and just giddy about your sabbatical and coming to join us and you're teaming up. So many good things to do, and I'm glad that you had a chance to experience what I think I have seen and others here have seen, which is the terrific fit between your brand of entrepreneurship and innovation and what you've been able to bring, in Brooklyn and elsewhere, and the great fit here at the lab. And so, if it wasn't clear, one of the things that came out of the idea, Unconference yesterday, it was a lot of good ideas and relationships that were formed, and some new friendships made. We had fun. And Ellie, could you take just a second to show people we came up with a project wiki and like an easy way to use. When I say we, I really mean Jason Walsh and David Colarusso, who were volunteer mentors yesterday. Intervened to make a simpler workflow for people online and in person to explain to provide ideas for projects, to fill them out, and to have a workflow to do online sessions. And Ellie, you're on mute right now, but if you were to pull up the wiki, or I could pull up the wiki and you could talk us through it, but we basically refined that into like a gallery space, basically. Or can you hear us, Ellie? You cannot hear us? Well, how can? Okay.
Okay. It was gone for like a minute.
Okay. I'm going to pull up the wiki, and I just want people to see what Jonathan's talking about here. So if you can see my page now, do you see this here? What I've got going here?
Yeah.
This is a kind of set of repositories that we set up just for this event. And if you go to the wiki, so this is like a format that's reusable for these online engagements. And the way this one works is when you look at the project roster, after trying it a million different ways, a wiki seemed to be quite easy. And so, the projects are just numbered, project 1, 2, 3, and that creates a URL that's actually quite stable. So here's the Voting with Blockchain project. You're going to click on that. You'll see, I don't know if you can see this URL, but it's just #project2. So that means even as they change this title, it's still going to be at that anchor point. who are the people, some grad students of David Schreier's and others, people that, and when you're interested, basically people that are around and interested in maybe joining the project, just add their name here, and then that can trigger a conversation with the group, and they could be brought on board. We don't have to over-engineer that. And some of them were too early, but others already had Hangouts scheduled and some other meetings. They just put their links there. So, project by project, here's Adrian's project. We'll add some things there. Here's a good one that we're going to be hacking soon, like in the next few weeks, SEC filings in XML and doing some analytics on that, etc. And then one of the things I was tickled to see is as you go toward the bottom here, here's one where I didn't even know exactly about this team, but here's another online team from University of Missouri, Kansas City, law student. Here's the captain of Code for America in Kansas City, Missouri. Jim Hazard came in from Paris, I believe, is where he's living now with it. And so these people have teamed up, I surmise. I haven't clicked on that yet. And so it's it's already kind of proving itself as like a fairly easy way for people to collaborate on stuff. And we just put the, in the wiki, we just put the schedule here. So if you want to see what's going on, here's the schedule, and you kind of click on it, and boom, kind of takes you to these kind of pre-programmed hangouts, bit by bit. So anyway, that's like a little preview of how we have kind of like a standard way now to use a free GitHub repository with like a template is what Kelly and I really worked on last night, getting ready for the rest of the weekend. And it's like super reusable. Ellie's always doing hackathons like almost every weekend. She's bringing them to SUNY Albany, and same here. We're doing more, and so we want a template, and this seems to be closer. Jonathan and I, when we work together, will be populating this out more with the ideas that were raised, adding more to it, so we have a gallery, and then we'll have a chance to iterate some of them. So, Dan, it almost looked like you were going to say something.
No, I'm good.
Okay, cool. So, so going forward, what I think we can expect to see is like through IAP in January, and then the spring semester with Jonathan when you're like joining us in person. But certainly through IAP, we'll have some sort of IAP activity where people have an opportunity to do some hacking on these projects and to further iterate the system. We had a great conversation with some Sloan students, Sloan fellows rather, and others today, where we'll maybe make it a little bit more organized and do some rapid prototyping. That was very exciting, I thought, Jonathan, and that really did show the great match of innovation, law, and solutions that are reusable. So that's a taste of what's to come. Dan, can I ask? Were you able to get what you need with people talking? Is there anything else we should be doing here?
No,
should we
not
be
at all.
trying?
This is great because I just get to see all the digital traces of what our conversation looks like, which is the gold of our work, the oil of our work. So this is perfect. Thank you, Daza.
Here.
And I
Absolutely. And so,
for being willing to be guinea pigs.
Yeah, Dan, will you have guidance for us on how we can improve our own value to these group collaborations?
Well, in general, the guidance is to make group contributions as equal as possible, which is a difficult thing to do when you are presenting ideas in a slide deck to a largest group of people. Maybe when there's an audience, for example. But in this particular case, actually, we're doing pretty well. I'm looking at, I can actually show you if you want to see.
yeah, let's see.
Yeah. This is the prototype of like a live intervention application for this, the pre-alpha version of these kinds of visualizations.
Oh, I see. So it's the widget off to the right there.
Yes.
11%. So
Yeah.
what does it mean? Can you talk us through?
So on the bottom just simply shows, they're simple visualizations. The bottom just shows how much of the entire conversation I've been speaking, and then on the top, those are measures of equality using the Herfindahl index, which is a statistic from market competition in economics. And so right now we're doing okay. You can see by those dots right in the middle, we're contributing fairly equally over the past 10 minutes or so. So kudos to us, I guess.
Outstanding. This is great, Dan, by the way. I have to say, like, seeing it functioning with like a group of people, I haven't seen this before. I don't know if any human has. Kudos on wiring this all together. I know it's challenging computer developer stuff with a hard AP, a lot of moving parts, and it's really exciting to see this. I can't wait to start working with you to apply it at larger scales, and with Oren's research in our group, and to imagine what what people like Jonathan Askin and others who do collaboration, large ecosystems could do with data and helping tune teams to the right types of collaboration patterns for their tasks eventually. Really exciting. Nicely done.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess so this is probably a good time to wrap it up. So thank you one and all. Thank you, Ellie, for making the trip here to help us organize this and being a great collaborator. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Bill. Thank you, Adrian, wherever you are. And Jonathan Askin, the man of the hour, man. What a terrific entree into the community. Like, really got some people and others fired up. You understand the fit better and can hardly wait to keep hacking with you over the weeks and months to come. So welcome to MIT, my friend.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Right on. Okay, so until next time, we'll see you online. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.